What made you lose respect for someone? When I turned 16, I realized my cousin, who I considered to be the brother I always wanted, was a lying, narcissistic, manipulative drug addict and often dragged my aunt's, who is a doctor, name in his little schemes so he can get free painkillers from our local hospital. Trained a new colleague over the phone. We've been work from home for years, and his cousin was injured and in the hospital after a mass shooting. Barely knew the chick a full day and she was upset, so I treaded lightly. A day or so later, she made a passing comment about her cousin and how the president was going to be visiting them in the hospital. I casually mentioned, "Well, that's nice." Silence for a few beats, and then stone cold said if I was there with the cousin, I'd spit in the president's face. I hate him. I had to have blanked out because I said, "Huh?" She repeated it again and I paused and said, "Oh. Okay, so here's where you go to file this report," and avoided the psycho till she got fired for something unrelated a few weeks later. More than half of my older brother's League games are versus bots. Just playing League isn't enough to lose my respect because I play it to lamau. Bigotry and cruelty. When they said it was my own fault for undergoing years of domestic abuse. I was working for Special Olympics and a friend I hadn't talked to in a while asked if I was still working at the Tart House. He then proceeded to try and recruit me to sell Advocare. I was once tutored by this one really well-known teacher in our city. Well, on the very first day he publicly shames me and I get laughed at by 100 people over some question I wasn't able to answer in a subject I'm quite bad at and was the main reason I was attending his class in the first place. Now I'm not saying this out of spite, but because that one incident worsened my mental health tenfolds and made me scared of literally everything I do in front of more than 2 people in the fear of being laughed at. I lost all respect for that guy cause I later started getting bullied and made fun of and he didn't do anything to help. My mental health and loneliness was worse than ever by the time I left that place, even a little suicidal. All because I forgot some mensuration formula which wasn't even in the syllabus for that year. When they go out of their way to talk down your accomplishments and career, go so far as to dislike things you're interested in, such as movies, music, technology. Activity ensures different opinions, generally has nothing positive to say and tries real hard to turn any reply into a dick, even if it doesn't make complete sense. I was a kid in Girl Scouts during the cookie season almost 20 years ago now. My troop did rather well selling cookies and we were supposed to get different prizes for reaching various numbers of boxes sold. Once all the money and checks were collected, my troop leader took it all for herself, a bit more than $5,000, and vanished. No one got any of their cookies or prizes. She was discovered some time later at an electronics store and arrested. Someone I slightly crushed on in HS shared a Facebook post implying that being non-binary means having a form of mental illness. Blocked on all platforms since seeing that 5 or 6 years ago. They were still having relations with their ex, while at the same time, trying to see me and have something. I said nope and walked away from that disaster. This was someone who I really cared for deeply, but that made me feel gross. They lied about cancer and told me they had 6 months to live. All the time and effort I put into that friendship because I thought I was losing a good friend. Only for 2 years later, they tell me the exact same lie again. If I do something, it's bad. If she does something similar or worse, it's good. A persistent attitude that wearing a mask and encouragement to be vaccinated was akin to being Jewish during the Holocaust. The person was very sharp and charismatic in many ways, but this was just incredible. 6 figures? As a server? The head staff leader and bar manager for the River Oaks Bar and Grill in Houston, Harry, who I know personally, barely broke $90K, and that's from a $40K salary and working 6 nights a week. The average server who works 5 full shifts at Bush Intercontinental knocks down between 45 to 50, that includes the president's club staff, and they only make that because the airport mandates any employee receive minimum wage and receive yearly raises. Meaning they usually make about $20,000 before tips. I'm not usually one for spitting at things people say, but this comment smacks of creative writing. One time I had a high school teacher who was actually really kind and respectful, and she never shouted or was impatient with her students. I had her every Wednesday and I always looked forward to her lessons. I would be walking to school with my friends and I'd be like, "Yes, I have misses today." They would always respond, "Ah, you mean the fat one?" At that point I realized they couldn't care less about personality, but only looks. It explained why they always dated the popular girls that I've always hated and seemed arrogant beyond belief but looked good. Anyways, I kinda started to zone them out a bit. 5 years later and 2 of the 3 are in prison. The other is an alcoholic and a drug addict. Literally just happened. My friend, no longer, is living in my home. Still trying to get them out, rolling eyes face. Anyway, they accused me of stealing their shoes and said I lied when they were mine. I found the proof and showed them they were mine. Now the relationship is tarnished and I have no respect or trust for them anymore. My best friend invested $1,250 in a business to get $600 profit back, only got $240 profit first time he reinvested my $1,250 again without telling me, and I made no profit and have to constantly chase him to get his money. His mom paid most of it. He's a shit friend. I was hanging out with a kid that was pretty cool, but he never was prepared for class in the morning. He would always ask this quiet kid for a pencil, paper, and help with homework. But one day, the kid didn't have any extra pencils, and the cool kid went off on him. Everyone told him to chill, and just turned on him. We figured that maybe the cool kid just had a bad day, but the next day, he basically admitted that he was just using the quiet kid to get free things. The principal then responded by giving the cool kid detention every day, and every class, that he didn't have all the things for the class. He quickly got expelled after he racked up like 20 detentions in 2 weeks from what I heard. When I realized my BF's parents cared more about themselves than their own children's future, constantly borrowing tens of thousands for their own investments under the guise of a good intention, losing it all in the stock market, failing to realize they are dragging their kids' future down with them. White people. Littering. Really liked this guy, but we were in the car one day and he just threw his plastic bottle out while driving, and that was it for me. Rape. When someone shows me, 21F, their boyfriend's dick pics. Sounds weird and like obviously that's a shitty thing to do, but I've had multiple friends do this in the past without me asking for it, and even after I've said point blank I don't want to see some guy's nudes, they'll just casually show me pictures the guy has sent them in confidence, and it's just icky to me, and also makes me wonder if the nudes I've sent guys have been casually shown to their friends in the same way. My cousin. He is quite a lot older than me, met his GF/future wife over the internet almost 17 years ago. They married, had 2 kids and moved into the same house my mom and I live. The last couple of months he changed tone. He said he didn't want the relationship anymore because he is too bored and his wife doesn't listen to his orders. He now goes out with another chick every other day even though they ain't divorced yet. He said his son was a failure but he wanted to keep his daughter, which he couldn't be. No wonder he never spent time with his daughter. It annoyed him. Now he plans on moving away and leaving his wife with over $200K bills for the not yet fully paid flat in our house. Treating the waitress in a very disrespectful manner on our first date. U/neck pillow happy cake day. A total lack of intellectual curiosity. Lost all respect for my son's mother. Things were alright but I told her if she's ever unhappy then just tell me instead of cheating. Well, she did the total opposite and was lying and cheating and caught her red-handed. Both me and my son did. Oh, was it fun to tell everyone about that. They all thought she was this innocent person, but My best friend of 3 years assaulted a girl while she was drunk and he was sober. He didn't tell me about it, she did, and then he admitted it to me. I couldn't even speak to him, I was so disgusted and angry. When during the last elections in Italy, a friend of mine wrote, "I vote for this guy. This guy is a DJ at a nightclub near Venice. Breaking promises. Still supporting Trump is an instant loss of respect." I'm L. She always acts super oblivious and says she has no ill intent because she's autistic, but I overheard a convo with her mom where she did nothing but trash me and several other people in her life. At first I was like, okay, maybe she doesn't mean it like this, maybe I'm overthinking it, I come from a family that everything means something, but after that convo, no. Hell no. She's snaky AF. I work at a grocery store for barely more than minimum wage. One of my co-workers came through my line with a full basket and started berating one of our newer employees, who was sacking her groceries. She was acting just like any other customer that makes our days worse than they need to be. I lost a lot of respect for her. Grey Dawnderer was a great YouTuber until he got too deep into the drama wormhole, causing him to damage his reputation. Now he keeps on reappearing and disappearing. He keeps on saying he won't be gone that long, but he is. I can't really trust him much anymore and his arguments are losing credibility. I heard he lost motivation to make videos, which explains his lack of uploads. Make rape jokes. Saw them zipping up a girl's pants when I walked in the room. I told her. He gave her a lot of Xanax and she had no memory of anything. Bit of background. I've always looked up to my manager. He's chill, always has time for everyone, brought the best out of me and is just an all-round good guy. When I first came into the team, he really took me under his wing and even pointed out that me and him had similar, like really similar, career paths before we both joined the team. He also has the perfect family, like Hollywood perfect. Then the rumors came out that he'd been sleeping around with women in the office after work /Christmas parties etc. Don't want to be judgy or anything, and what people get up to is their business, but I felt let down hearing it. He went from a guy I wanted to emulate to just another typical man who can't control himself. I still look up to him and appreciate everything he's done for me, but can't help but feel sorry for his wife when I see him in the office with some of the women in question. The husband of a friend was commenting on another girl's bikini pics. Things like, "You look so good. Can I hit you up? Maybe take you out?" He didn't know that I was friends with the other girl. Their attitude of nothing gets to me, so I can do whatever. Respect is earned, not given. I worked for longtime friend for about a year as a favor. They were such an inept and disrespectful boss that I lost all respect for them. Left and broke off all contact. Realizing my friend isn't a tough guy, just big on toxic masculinity. He's the sort to never apologize or do anything weak. And always has a big plan but doesn't leave the house. The kind of person who finds fault in everyone but nothing he does is wrong.
With